Getting it right. Every investment in agriculture is worth the while as the sector holds the key to economic prosperity of nations. We have a report. Still on the agriculture sector, Premier Seeds Limited and Maslaha Seeds Limited's offerings in focus on our corporate report segment of the program. Countdown to Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, the third edition in the series of the biennial event with the theme Engineering and Economic Prosperity. Guest speakers including Engineer Oti Sayeji and Engineer Larry Shagaya speak on the place of engineering in national development. Plus, as Nigeria-India show begins in Lagos in earnest, explaining positive development and bilateral relations between Nigeria and India is the India High Commissioner to Nigeria as he speaks with Inside Business Africa. This is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Hello and thanks for joining us. This is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. My name is Kenneth Odushola Stevenson presenting. I would like to inform you that Inside Business Africa is also on the YouTube. You can also download the presentation on that particular platform by clicking on youtube.com/Inside Business Africa TV. On today's edition of the program, like you may have heard on the highlight, we'll be continuing with our special report on agriculture, and it's believed that if Nigeria can get it right, this particular sector could snowball into propelling Nigeria's economy to greater height. We'll talk about all that when we come back right after this commercial break. Welcome back. You're still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Thanks for staying with us. Like I said earlier on, if Nigeria can get it right, especially in the areas of agriculture, the nation's economic prosperity may finally be on the way to progressing or to the materialization. Indeed, the operators in this important sector have been speaking with Inside Business Africa on the prospect of this sector and also the needs to look at this sector as one of the major drivers of the economy, and the current administration is also looking into that direction. The agricultural sector in Nigeria is critical for achieving economic growth, poverty alleviation and stability. If appropriate policy and the political will is sustained and strengthened, it is estimated to contribute approximately 55% of the country's employment, an increasingly significant figure. Yet, in terms of performance, the current situation in agriculture is a reversal of that during Nigeria's early days, when the sector experienced strong annual growth rates based on the production of high-value products. These earlier levels have proved that Nigeria has several important assets to realize a greater potential within the sector, including high number of agroclimatic zones, good soil condition, good water supply and skills within the population.
It's very important in the development of agriculture. The policy to be able to provide seed, to be able to provide food, security for the people, to be able to employ the populace, and to be able to have balance of trade. So the government has to put into place a number of measures to be able to develop agriculture, and the kind of strategies the government has used have been to establish research institutes that dealt with development and improvement of improved crops that we need, and they try to produce policy to have extension to be able to teach the farmers on how to produce, and also in order to remove excesses, provide avenue for preservation and to have grain reserve. So the policy to be able to know that we produce all year round, like irrigation facilities have been provided. So that has been the kind of thing that the government has put in place to make sure that agriculture is developed.
Yeah, I think you don't need anybody to tell you to invest into agriculture now. Let me just give you a simple scenario. In 1991, a census was conducted in this country. We all know. And at that time, we were told the population of this country was put at 80 million. 80 million people. And here we are now, 2015. I think about 27 years. From 1991 to now, we are having 170 million people in the country. And based on the forecast, by 2050, or let me even take it far, by 2100, Nigeria will be somewhere around 800 million people, will be the third most populous nation in the world after India and China. As at that time, India will be number 1, China number 2, and Nigeria will be the third most populous nation in the world. You can imagine, you can see how our population is growing. So if anybody should come and tell you not to invest in agriculture, it's not helping matters. Because how can you survive? A country that was just 80 million in 1991 is now 170 million people. By 2100, it will be around 800 million people. By 2050, yes, Nigeria will overtake US. Nigeria will become the 4th most populous nation in the world. How can we sit down and rely on oil? Oil is not food. Yes. And we have all the potential, we have all it takes in Nigeria to invest in agriculture. We have the land. 60% of the remaining world arable land is in Africa. And if you look at Nigeria, we are well positioned in Africa. We have about 82 million hectares of arable land in Nigeria. 82 million hectares. Out of it, presently we are using only 32 million hectares in Nigeria annually. We are not using up to half of the arable land in Nigeria. So we have all it takes to be able to feed ourselves.
While the country is producing a lesser amount of agriculture-related products and agriculture is contributing less to the GDP, the number of people engaged in this sector remains almost the same. Therefore, the per capita income of those engaged has declined, and yet this does not need to be the same. By some estimates, the sector could be performing at 5 times its current levels, and there are domestic and international market that would absorb an expanded output. Nigeria now needs to establish the right condition within its market-led economy to once again promote growth and development of the sector.
That is really the most challenging aspect of agriculture. Because of the dynamics of agriculture, there is no bank. I want to tell you, I want to repeat, there is no bank in Nigeria that is willing to lend a kobo to agriculture. I'm the one telling you today. No bank is willing to lend a kobo to any agricultural outfit in Nigeria. Not only in Nigeria, most of African countries. Not only in most of African countries, globally. Banks only fund agriculture when government comes in and provides guarantees. And that's exactly what is happening in developed countries. There is no aspect of agriculture that is not subsidized by government.
Well, ordinarily, banks do not want, are reluctant to lend for agricultural business. This is because of the risky nature that they perceive, and also because of long gestation period of agricultural business. But within the past 3 years, as from 2011, government has made it easier for agri-businesses, especially seed producers, to access credit at a single-digit interest rate. Well, at that, the kind of credit provided is only for, if it's for seed industry, is only for buyback of seed from farmers. But they have not done much in terms of production, in terms of processing, in terms of marketing. The period for buyback is about the term of such loan is 6 months, whereas the cycle of production is about 24 months. So it has been of benefit to the producers, but not enough.
Indeed, our special report on agriculture will continue on Inside Business Africa next week. But before next week, we'll be taking a look at the importance of two major players in the industry and look at their offerings as we take on this important corporate report on two companies. One is based in Zaria, Kaduna State, and the other one is based in Gusau, Zamfara State. This Inside Business presentation has taken a new dimension into crossing across Nigeria to look at the operators in this particular sector to actually provide the information for government to actually do something about the sector. Take a look at this special report on these two major players. Premier Seeds Nigeria Limited is the oldest and foremost private seed company in Nigeria. It engaged in research, production and marketing of improved seeds of feed crops and vegetables to farmers nationwide and in the West Africa sub-region to boost agricultural productivity. The company operates a network of distributorship systems all over the country where our highly demanded seeds are being marketed in all the states of Nigeria.
Premier Seed Nigeria Limited is the oldest and the foremost private seed company in Nigeria. It all started as about 1984 with Leventis Foundation and AgSeed, and later on it grew up to be Premier Seed Nigeria Limited and incorporated in 1994, and since then we have been in operation.
Premier Seeds produce high-quality certified seeds through its various successful and sustainable outgrower scheme using foundation seeds of very high genetic purity. The firm maintains total commitment towards producing high-quality seeds of improved release crop varieties and working closely with the quality control staff of the National Agricultural Seed Council for the purpose of certification in fulfillment of the Nigeria seed laws.
To farmers using the application of science of genetics and technology, and we want farmers to make farming profitable with the use of improved agricultural seed of important crops.
Premier Seeds products include hybrid maize, white and yellow, open pollinated maize, white and yellow, rice upland and lowland varieties, sorghum, soybeans, cowpea, groundnut, cotton, among others, and assorted vegetables for local and exotics.
We produce our crops and foundation seeds from our research fields, and from there we give this to farmers to produce certified seeds. And by now we produce about per annum we are producing well over 10,000 metric tons of seed. And if you put that one into as many hectares that this one will plant and the output that we will get, Premier Seed is assisting heavily in the agricultural production of and productivity of the country.
Yeah, Maslaha Seed Limited is a company that focused on agriculture, and to be specific, we are into seed production, processing, and delivery to the Nigerian farmers. We started the company about 9 years ago, to be specific, 2006, and finally got incorporated in 2007. While we ventured into the seed production was our discovery. Yeah, we are into most of the cereals. We are into maize, rice, soybeans, sorghum, and millet. You can see where we are located. We decided to locate our company here. There is a purpose for that, because here we will have access to most of the ecological zones in Nigeria from here. The relationship has been excellent. We have been actually reaching to the farmers, because when we started this company, we discovered that most of the problems that the other companies that started operation earlier than us was their inability to reach to the farmers' doorsteps. When we came in, we discovered that most of the companies, they produce the seeds, they supply or dump the seeds to the major agro dealers in major cities. And remember, farmers are not located in the major cities, they are in the rural areas. And the farmer will find it difficult to leave the rural area, to pay 200 naira to come to the urban city and buy seed of just 300 naira and pay another 200 naira to go back to the village and plant. So what we did was to sort of establish another chain of village level agro dealers. Yeah, we are unique in the sense that we change the course of the seed business in Nigeria. When we entered, we came with a lot of innovations. People within the seed industry will tell you that. We actually brought a lot of competition into the sector. The seed sector was actually sleeping before Maslaha. But when we came in, people realized that we are really taking it as a serious business. And they now began to realize that they were sleeping, and everybody was had to become up and doing as far as investing into the various components of the seed business is concerned. Because if you are doing seeds, you have to invest in the research. You have to invest in the main production of the seeds. You have to invest in the processing. You have to invest in the marketing. Most of the companies before, they were not investing in the marketing and other sectors. When we came in, we made the competition to become very vibrant. Due to the government facilitation and intervention, agri sector is a sector that requires a lot of government facilitation and intervention. It's not a sector that should be left with the private sector alone, and it's also not a sector that should be left with the public sector. There is need for collaboration. The two have to actually come together. So if you look at it prior to 2011 and 2012, before the introduction of the GS program, the sector was more or less left with the private companies. That was the reason why we were only few seed companies as at that time. We were about 12 seed companies as at that time, because there was not much government facilitation into the sector to encourage investors to do more into the sector. Yeah, it's very, very key and important, particularly what we are experiencing now. Before now, when you talk to most of the stakeholders in the agriculture, most of them, they don't see need for an insurance. But now, most of them are now seeing the more reason why they should really sort of get some insurance companies to come in and insure different aspects of agriculture. I'll give you an example. Look at it now. The rain is unpredictable. The rain pattern is not something anybody can predict. Even the weather forecast, they will do their own. Just suddenly the whole thing will change completely, a complete diversion. And this is the more reason why you need insurance companies. If not, a lot of agricultural concerns will go down unexpectedly because of the so much impact that will come. I will give you an example of this year.
Indeed, our special presentation on the agricultural sector will continue on Inside Business Africa next week. And you took a look at the particular presentation by Maslaha Seeds Limited and Premier Seeds in Nigeria Limited. Those corporate organizations are doing very well in this important sector, and they also need to be looked into in terms of their operations and also for what government can do to assist them to grow better. And indeed, next week we'll continue with that. But now let's move on today's edition of the program. Let's talk about the event that is coming up on September the 25th in Lagos, Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that and the details of who will be speaking when we come back right after this commercial break. Like your construction and engineering industry news and information, broad, complex and difficult to read, or sharp, ready to read and explore. Presenting Construction and Engineering Digest Magazine CED, refreshing clarity in construction and engineering industry news and information. Construction and Engineering Digest Magazine CED, incorporating oil and gas report with news and information that work for you. Welcome back. You're still inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. We want to talk about this important event that is making waves in the country today, and it's actually the talk of the town, especially in the built environment. The Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, the third edition of the biennial event that was actually instituted in 2011. And indeed, the 2015 edition will make it the third time this event will be holding in Nigeria. And nominations is currently going on, but we will be talking about a very important issue indeed, engineering and economic prosperity, and we are going to be having two astute engineers talking about this important issue. Engineer Otis Ayenji is the Managing Director, Chief Executive of Otis Engineering Nigeria, and the Deputy President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And we will also be having Engineer Larry Shagaya, who is also a former President of the Association of Consulting Engineering in Nigeria. These personalities are going to be talking about that particular theme of the event. Indeed, let's hear it from them, especially on the issue of engineering, the importance of engineering to nation building. The high point of the occasion was the induction of the 2013 Hall of Famers, which include Engineer Ike Chukwuneke, Guinness Book of Records holder for Fit Tabernacle, Electric Nigeria Limited, Otumba Gbengodania, the former executive governor of Ogun State, Engineer Otis Ayenji, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Elder William Odudu, chairman, Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria, Engineer Ezekiel Adeniji, chairman, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, QS Partnership, Dade Nigeria Limited, Professor Engineer Dr. Danladi Matawa, the Director General of the Nigerian Building Road Research Institute, Dr. Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Town Planner Olusegun Edim, Engineer Ibikunle Ogunbayo, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and past President, Association of Consulting Engineers Nigeria, Architect Larry Tarikoka, among others.
Engineering is the basis of economic prosperity. No country can develop without meaningful engineering content. But indeed, every aspect of the economy is connected with engineering. It's power, drinking water, roads, port development.
Nigerian engineers shouldn't be subordinated to French craftsmen and technicians. And because of that, we had to part company. I think that what has really shaped my or honed my skills as a professional engineer.
I'm afraid that's about all we have time for on Inside Business Africa for today. I want to believe that you mark it down in your diary. The third edition of the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame coming up on September the 25th in Lagos. And if you're a nominee, please get ready. If you have received the letter for nomination, please reply to it. And if you want to be part of the event, you can also reach us on the phone numbers that's on our screen. And don't forget to join us on Inside Business Africa on YouTube. Inside Business Africa on YouTube. www.youtube.com/Inside Business Africa. It's been Kenneth Odrishola Stevenson presenting. Thank you again for watching. See you then.